Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Beauty and Difference podcast, where I share the stories of individuals who have learned to not just accept, but celebrate their differences in hopes that we all can too. Today, I'm here with someone I've been so excited to interview. His name is Shawn Williams. I was referred to him by one of my friends, actually my cousin, and I went online and saw about his story and just how he uses his difference to amplify his life story. And he's just turned it into something, a whole platform. So, Shawn, if you would like to take it away and just tell us about your story.
Maddie, first off, thank you for having me. I'm surprised you would want someone as crazy as me on your platform. I know you see my TikToks. I'm just saying, you know, I'll just say thank you for having me. This is exciting. It's exciting to be exchanging with different content creators and doing. These are all new experiences for me, but it's really cool. And I've always been the kind of person who is more eccentric, wild, just like to have fun, and I've always had to deal with vitiligo. And since I was 12, it's been something that has been a part of me. And as you grow up, it's something that, because when you're younger and you have these things that you deal with, you know, you deal with kids and they tell you what it is. And unfortunately, as kids, we allow that to be what's true. When we grow up to realize that that's not the case at all. But growing up, it was difficult. But I had plenty of friends. I'm not. It's not like I was. I'm not going to sit there and tell this story like, oh my God, I had no one, and I'm just like, the humpback of Notre Dame up in the bell tower, just ringing, coming down every once in a while, like I'm some freak. Like it wasn't that, but I mean, kids can be cruel, but we all do it to each other. Like young kids are just all a whole bunch of insecurities. That's all they are, really, all of them. Even the ones who act like they're so confident, they're not. And I'm from Gen X, so I don't even know what it's like in today's society with social networking and all the other craziness. Back in my day, it was like things would happen, and they would get talked about in circles, whatever, whatever. But in today's society, you get something said about you and it could spider off into so many different places like that because just with the way social networking is and just the internet and everything. But coming up at times was difficult, and you do struggle with confidence because you hear these things all the time and they just become your truth. You just feel like, okay, well, everybody's saying the same thing, the whole choir is singing the same song, it must be a hit. And you start to think that way. And I mean, I would be lying to you if I told you it didn't bother me. And the unfortunate thing is when you're young, it's something that kind of hardwires into your system. And so it's something you constantly have to fight. I'm 44 years old. I'm not saying I'm not confident now, but I'm also not going to tell you that certain things don't bother me because I always tell people this, we're grown children. A lot of us are grown children who haven't dealt with the past traumas the way we need to. So when you see a lot of grown people act crazy, a lot of them were just grown children. They don't know how to process things. But I can, if I'm being brutally transparent and honest, yeah, I still go back to times when I think about that and that really hurt my family. I mean, it's just like, but you have to get to a point where you kind of evolve and then refine yourself. So I have always been the kind of person who just likes to make people laugh. I like to just entertain, and I like to just be Shawn. And anybody who's around me knows what that means. Whether you work with me, family members, my poor family members, but just people in general. It's just Shawn on TikTok. If the reason I named it that is because if you know Shawn, you know what that entails. I love to make people laugh. I love to be educational. I love to be thought provoking, and really just I don't want to do what everybody else is doing, which is exactly why me and you are doing this now because this isn't what everybody's doing. And I want to get myself in different circles and just level up. So
Oh, I love the way that you speak and how you put things into like analogies, saying that if the whole choir is singing it, it must be a hit. I've never heard that before, but that I feel like, especially with someone who struggles with some sort of difference, and I agree with you. Like growing up, I had good friends at my school. I had great friends, but it was the people that didn't know me or that may have seen me as a threat that had a little bit that they would throw those digs and premature accusations at you. But I really relate to that you kind of start making your own reality of other people's words. If everyone's thinking it, it must be true.
Maddie, we are all creators. And I say this so much because people will be like, oh, Shawn, you're so creative. It's that we are all creators. When we're born, we only are born with two fears: the fear of falling, like being just like there's this natural Babinski reflex that'll just kick in, or like a loud noise. Those are the only two fears we are born with. Any other fear we have, we created ourselves, whether it be spiders or the fear of maybe this group not liking me or this, that, anything. So I have had them fears of being out in public because of those are all created. We all create our own fears. But bigger picture, we're all creators. We're literally all creators and we don't realize that. We create our version of reality. Like however long you've been on this planet, how you feel about it, you've created that. You know, with your life experiences and everything you've been through, you've created. I have created mine, and I tell everyone it's just like that's why it's so. I really feel for the youth because I wish we could talk to these young bullies and really sit them down to help them appreciate the damage you're actually doing to people because it's next level. It goes on well beyond school. I actually ran into a girl that I graduated with. I graduated back in 2000, all right? And I saw her, and she's still not who she should be because she's so backwards and messed up from ignorant, rude people from way back. And so I just, I wish we could really reach the ones who do that to understand the catastrophic damage you could be doing to people. Like me and you have found a way to flip it and be empowered by it. But the vast majority do not do that. The vast majority just stay in the shadows. They stay like this. Well, you know, I guess everyone already told me what I am, and that's what I would just love to let these people know. No, that's what they said. Who are you? And one thing, I actually wrote this one down because I didn't want to forget it. I had vitiligo. You had what you had, which is nothing. Okay, what I have is nothing. That's the reality, not what people told you in your past, not what they told me, but it's how we carry ourselves. Because how me and you carry ourselves, that's how people are going to look at us. If we don't respect ourselves, why would they? But when we carry ourselves with confidence, charisma, hold our heads high, and know who we are, people have to respect that. It's not a go. You have to respect it because of the way he carries himself. So it's very important for people who, whatever you're going through, carry yourself in a way that it does not matter, and make them respect you because of how you respect yourself.
I completely agree with that. It's been crazy to see the difference in how people approach me and have conversations with me now that I do not just accept but celebrate my birthmark. So now when I talk to people about it, that's the first thing that they'll say to me is that, oh, I love how you have turned something that you used to not love about yourself into something that you now advocate for and talk about. And as to where before it was always no one talked to me about my birthmark. No one that knew me talked to me about my birthmark because they thought that it was something they had to like kind of step on eggshells to talk about. And I don't blame them because, in the world that we live in, sometimes it's hard for people to hear when they have some sort of difference that um to just talk about it if they're afraid of it. But now that I kind of carry myself differently with that, everyone, they love it. They'll talk about it all the time. And I think that,
They're open to talk about it.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you do it for yourself, you allow others to do the same. You allow them. When you accept yourself,
Absolutely.
you're allowing others to do that too because I don't know if you know, but I do a her story at Miss Ohio, and it's like kind of spoken word about your story. It's like slam poetry basically, and I talk about how I used to come home and look at myself in the mirror. I have a mirror in front of me right now, and instead of seeing myself as me and Maddie and who I always, whenever I was 5 years old, the girl that I loved so much and I was so excited for her future, she was gonna be Miss America. I mean, I used to watch it and I would tell myself that the older I got, the more that reflection turned into just words. And it was so surreal to see that. And I would look at myself and I'd be like, oh, you're so ugly. You are Scarface. You do look like Barney. Like I didn't see me. I can't even explain it. It was an out of body experience. I saw someone and something else because of the words that they called me. And then when I
Hmm.
realized it was all based on perspective, that's their perspective of me. I can't change that. There is nothing I can do to change, like you said, their opinions. Like every fear, every opinion they have, they've created. And all I can do is know my worth internally. My favorite quote is that, your value doesn't decrease because of someone else's inability to see it. Like they could have a huge pole
Kind
in
of
their
crazy.
way. They could have the wrong glasses on. Like there's so many things that go into someone's perception of you. So I love that you put that into reality for people. And I think that so many people who are watching this will benefit from that. One of the things that I do want you to talk about, because I don't know, I have a medical background, so I know what vitiligo is, but I feel like there might be people on here who are unaware of what that is. If you could just kind of explain that and what that condition's been like and just what it is.
Yeah, so vitiligo basically is my body does not create the melanin like it needs to. So especially with someone who is African American like myself, it just obviously contrasts a lot more. So I just don't produce the melanin to create the brown. So it's autoimmune, which is weird because like me being autoimmune, I've never gotten COVID. And I mean, I've actually tested myself several times. I actually got to the point where I was even testing the antibodies. I'm like, listen, I had to have had, maybe I was asymptomatic. But yeah, it's been very interesting. It started when I was 12 and it started on my finger. And just ever since, it's just been something that's just gradually, I have to be careful out in the sun because I burn easy there. So I have less protection than even you have. Like where I am white, I literally have no protection. So I have to be very careful because in some areas I burn very easy. So it is something I have to be careful of, and I'm always using like SPF 10,000. That stuff like bulletproof, just to make sure I don't. And the sun can really affect me and even like if we're down in the beach setting, I'm the guy you usually see in like a bucket hat because that just protects me, because my whole scalp is white. The hair helps, but like what you can see right here, so it's just something I have to be mindful of. But a very harmless condition. It's so funny because going back to what you said about how people's perception of it, I'll be out in public and someone will be like, "Oh my goodness, oh," what? And I always get asked. This is the funniest one ever. I can always tell when someone's going to ask me. They'll be like, "Can I ask you a question?" Oh, here we go. Because like, did you get burned? And I'm just like, I understand people. A lot of people in etiquette, they don't have it. So I give them grace, and I know that you're just being curious. I've gotten to a point in life I could easily just get offended. You shouldn't be saying, no, I don't. I'm not going to go Karen on you. I'll just answer your question, and I'll carry myself because if I act that way and get offended, get hurt, when I'm showing you I'm not that confident. So I just have to make sure I answer it in the appropriate way. I swear I get asked if I got burned 2 or 3 times a week. My goodness! And in my head, I always say this: if you ever went past a burn victim, you won't even ask the question because you'll know. I look at myself. I don't think this looks like it's burned, but whatever. People can curate or perceive however they want to, whatever. But if you ever seen a true burn victim, I always want to say this to them, even though I don't. You won't even ask the question because you will know. And I just give people grace because people are just curious and they don't always say it in the way that. But I love talking about it. I've been stopped all the time, about just ask questions, and I just hey, it's for me, it's something to talk about. I'm glad I've gotten to this point because I didn't always used to be this way. Because again, like you talked about earlier, I used to allow people's perceptions to be my reality, be real. And what I had to realize is one simple thing: hurt people, hurt people. They just do. Their insecurities. So when they see somebody that they think is worse than them, that makes them feel better. That's all it is. I've had so many people call me everything from, Michael Jackson to 101 Dalmatians. I didn't heard it all, whatever. But let me tell you, no one can make fun of me better than me. So for me, I got into this TikTok thing. I said, I know it. I want to get viral posts, and they're going to start talking about my skin. I already knew this. I had to have a plan. Well, I had this plan in motion. I already knew when you start making fun of me, I'm going to make fun of myself better than you do, and I'm going to get followers because of it. So it actually now I'm using you. But people who are just going to pick fun of me, they don't know I had this plan already lined up. And so it's just like, okay, boom, and it's already just okay, whatever. And that's how you have to be with anything in life. Just that's why I'm so passionate about chess because you can take chess and you can merge it with life. And in any situation you're going through, if you can just look at it strategically, think it through, you always will make the best decision. And so that's why you always see the chessboard. It's because that's how I do everything in life. So
Yeah, going back to something you said earlier, just something that I want to point out to anyone watching right now. I completely agree with you. I love when people are curious, when they ask me questions about my birthmark. Whenever I was younger, and again, I don't blame anyone for any of this because they were trying to do the right thing. I've had 12 surgeries on my birthmark, so that's why it kind of looks how it does today. It's just some like scarring on my face. That's really what it is right now. But what you can't see is underneath my gloma cells aren't fully formed. So if I were to hang my head or do anything that rushes the blood to that area, I get a lot of pressure and pain, and it will continue to grow. So I have to get surgery for the rest of my life. But whenever I was younger and I didn't have the surgeries that I needed on it, it was very discolored. It was purple in coloration and cobblestone looking. So it almost looked like abuse. So we would go out in the stores and my mother would get turned in for abuse. And people were trying to do the right thing, so I can't blame them. But the questions she would get all the time about if I were to be hit, or people would say, like, oh, how's the other guy look? Like making jokes, whatever. It's all what, fun and games. I don't care. But it's the way people ask the comments. If they ask me a question, hey, like what happened to your face? I'm glad to answer. I love people who are curious and want to get to know me. But it's the little comments that aren't you just being curious and you're actually trying to be mean that I'm like, that's what I don't go
The
for.
undertone digs. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But
And
but
I'm
if
a firm
people,
believer in just giving it right back to them in an undertone dig or just being funnier than them. I'm telling you, it will
yeah.
disarm them. I promise you it will.
And
You
that's
were talking about. I'm sorry.
no, no, no. That's all I was gonna say is that, you know, if people are curious and just want to know the answer, I feel like everyone who has some sort of difference would absolutely love to talk about it because I want to educate you. I want you to know what's going on. I want you to be curious for other people's differences, but don't do it in a way that's offensive towards someone.
That's why I tell everyone, when you are trying to build like me and you are, it's just fishing. Every post we do is just fishing because you're really just trying to find your people. And there's A-list celebrities that have people that do not like them. You're not going to get everyone to like you. You are just trying to find your people. And every time I post something, you're just fishing. You're just trying to find your people. So I'm almost at 20,000 followers on TikTok right now. And I don't say that to brag or to flex. I'm not doing this for likes, clicks, clout. I'm not doing this for any of that. I love to inspire people. And as I get more followers, I just look at it as, oh, ooh, they almost get scared. It's like, okay, pressure's on. It's like, okay, it doesn't make me feel like, oh yeah, I got to, I'm not on that. I don't, it's just like, it makes me feel like more of a responsibility, if I'm being brutally honest. So I had one TikTok that went viral. I was like, back in the day, black parents would always say how they would smack the black off you. I said, mine stood on business. And let me tell you something, this TikTok went freaking crazy. Like, so many people, and there were so many different people. I had this one lady, she was like, okay, you should not be laughing this much in the ICU. You should not. She's in the ICU. You had someone else who was in the grocery store at line, and he was like, I was laughing so hard, people were looking at me like I was nuts. I love looking at these comments and just seeing the impact that it's having. I don't get anything egotistical from it. No, I'm glad this is helping people. Is what I'm saying. This other lady, she said she was in the doctor's office with another woman who she didn't even know. She was sitting there, and she was like, I had to just show this person this video because it was so hilarious. I don't know what state these things happen in or what, but to have that kind of influence to me is everything. That woman in that ICU was probably dealing with something, and she even actually got back to me, let me know whatever, like that loved one had passed away. But for that brief moment that she was in there, the 10 to 12 seconds, she was able to laugh and gut bust hilariously and just not think about what was going on. That's the medicine she needed. I was able to give her that, unbeknownst to me. But if I don't curate that and get it out there, then see that's responsibility. And I tell so many people when you start doing this, if you're trying to get followers for you, you will not sustain because you cannot do this for yourself. You have to do it for people. Anyone who's doing this for themselves, when you don't get what you want, you will eventually fade out. You have to do this for people. And that's where I'm anchoring. I do this for people. That's what really keeps me consistent. I'm not doing this for myself. I was literally just at work a couple hours ago, and one of the nurses there was just telling me, she's like, "Oh, your videos are so," and it's just like sometimes I need that. This gets redundant sometimes, and sometimes you're wondering if what you're doing is even influencing. Well, it is. You just don't know it. It's just like there are people. If I don't do a TikTok for a couple of days, people are like, "Hey, where you been at? What's going on?" So now it's a responsibility. Sorry, dang, sheesh. Like, yeah, really. Yeah, it's very humbling, and I just want to continue this grind with that framework, that mindset. I tell everyone, do it for the people. Do not do it for yourself. I had to tell this to one girl that I work with because she was starting to do this, but she admitted that she was just doing it because she wanted to make more money. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not going to keep you consistent. Where's the purpose behind it? What I do is fueled with purpose. And not to get too cheesy, but I almost look at my little bit of 20,000 followers on TikTok. That's like my little Gotham City. And I feel like I'm Batman in my own story. And I have to keep coming by every once in a while just to see my people because they need it. They're following me for a reason. And that's the beauty of this is like I have spent my whole life being a consumer, whether it be Netflix, doom scrolling, Instagram, following other people's content. I'm always doing somebody else's stuff. Well, now I'm on this side of the fence where I'm the actual producer. You're either a producer or a consumer. And I love producing and creating and then giving it. I love this side of the fence and I'll never go back. Like this is where it's at. I don't want to be a person that's always we all consume product or something. We all do. We're all fans of something. But I was just so mindlessly, I mean, online video games, all that stuff. I mean, things that take up so much of your time. I've learned to be on this side of the fence and to love it here and to want to stay here. And so I really enjoy doing this. And because I'm over here, I've gotten to meet you. I've gotten to meet so many different people. And I just love how this spiders off. And I'm sure this won't be the last thing me and you do. I have ideas for things here. I mean, seriously, like this is what content creators do. We like collaborations and everything. We keep in touch or whatever. I love this side of the fence. And I encourage anyone to get on this side of the fence, at least try it out. You know?
I completely agree. You don't know the impact you can have unless you go for it. I was once told and told myself that people like me couldn't be on a stage, be the face of an organization. I always wanted to go to Miss America, but so many people, even my family members, and again, I don't blame them for this, but they would just say, "Oh, that's not meant for people like us. That's not meant for people like you." Why not? Why the heck not? Like
Exactly.
that's why I started in this because I was like, I'm gonna change the narrative. If no one else is gonna do it for me, I have to do it for me and for all of those to come that feel like they relate to me in some sort of way. So I did, and
Exactly.
that's kind of why I started all this social media too, is because there are so many people like us who are afraid to step in the public eye. They're afraid to come back at videos like that. They're afraid to speak out about something. And I was like, we need to be the voice for people that's like, it's okay, you can do this and you should. Because just like me and you have an impact, your 20,000 followers. Now, I don't have 20,000, but hopefully I'll get there someday.
No, you
But I
will.
feel like,
Absolutely, you will.
yeah, I feel that too. I feel like the people that you have, they need you. And there are so many people who think, oh, like, I'm nothing, I don't amount to anything. And whatever the difference that they have is makes them less than. What they don't realize is there's a community of people who feel they relate to them that need them. They need to consume that in order to bring that out of themselves. And I think that you putting that into words is going to help so many people realize that,
It's
oh, I can do this too. And not just that I can, but I need to.
that part, how you just ended it, it is everything. I've had several people, on Facebook, because I've been posting on Facebook a lot more. I'm trying to get monetized on there. And they private messaged me like, listen, I'm really appreciate your content. It's really helped me to want to start. Because to your point of what you just said, it's like, well, if if Maddie can do it, then I can do it. If Shawn can do it, then I can do it. And it's funny, you talked about family members, friends, the people who might even be thinking they're giving you their best. Oh, no, you don't need to get into all that. And it's like you can't do that. You can't do that. Like I don't know if you listen to any Jay Z, but Jay Z he had a line and he was talking about his uncle. His uncle before they started the record label, he told him he was going to sell a million records. He told his uncle that. Uncle, you're not going to be a sell a million records. His uncle told him that, and his rap line, how did he put it? He was like, Uncle said I'd never sell a million records. I sold a million records like a million times. So yeah, so it's like he was explaining that line. And he was saying his uncle wasn't trying to say he couldn't do it. What's actually happening is the fear his uncle had. He projected that onto Jay Z because he couldn't do it. The uncle, but don't put that on me. So any family members or friends who are going to tell you can't do something, that's their projection, their creation of what they can't do. Because in their head, well, if I can't do it, then, you shouldn't be doing it. But I ain't you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, no, I'm doing this different. So you're gonna hear negative feedback even from people you wouldn't expect. I have people that I would expect to be more engaging in my content, close friends who they don't even really, and that's okay. That's fine. You can't let it bother you. You can't be like, man, how come my mom don't really, but she don't, whatever. It doesn't matter. Why get caught up on that? Like everyone's gonna see it how they see it, and that's okay. And at the end of the day, like I said earlier, you're just trying to find your people. All you're trying to do is find your people. And it's so dangerous. And what we can't ever do is talk about what we can't do. The mind's very black and white. So, Maddie, if you ever go, like, if you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so stupid, I did that, please don't ever do that. Like, don't ever say you're stupid being funny because the brain can't turn that off. If you say you're stupid, then you're stupid. That's how the brain takes it. It's very objective. So we have to say what we are and manifest that because it can get dangerous. We have to not, we can manifest negativity by just saying things that we know aren't true subconsciously. We have to make sure, I know I'm about to do this. I'm starting this YouTube. I know and when you do that, you start to manifest every opportunity, nook and cranny of making it happen. And you're making it happen. You didn't listen to your family. You didn't listen to those friends. Now we're talking. If you would have listened to them, we don't have this conversation right now.
If you had any like piece of advice or anything that you think someone with a difference needs to know, what would that be?
First order of business, and this has to be the foundation of your persona, is embracing whatever it is. Embrace it. For God's sakes, Maddie, I see people on TikTok live. Dude don't have any. He has no arms. Okay, and he just samples all these different types of foods. He's got like 200,000 followers. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and no disrespect to him, like he doesn't even have arms. And look, what's my excuse? I don't have no excuse. He embraces what he is, and there's a power in that. And making fun of him's not going to matter because he's way beyond that. And making fun of somebody is pea-brain behavior anyway. And when it doesn't bother you in the slightest, it really just makes the other people look stupid. It's like, I mean, and these will be like grown adults. It's like it's really bad. It's like I've come to realize that if you really want to know how, if you want to get to know somebody, just look at them on social networking. That's who they really are. See how they present themselves in pictures, poses, how they talk, because they get very truthful online for some reason. How they act online is who they are. They don't even hide it. Like you don't have to play Texas Hold'em and try to know. Just watch how they move online. That's who that person is. So,
And I love that advice when you learn to, that's what this whole podcast is about. When you learn to not just accept your difference, because we're told that a lot in life. Oh, that's just something you got to live with. You got to accept it. No, no, no. I'm going to change that. I'm going to celebrate it. You're using it for your TikTok. You're using it to empower others that may have vitiligo or something that they feel like they relate to you in a certain way. And they're going to see what you have and utilize that. That is your superpower, is your vitiligo. I feel like when we're younger, like you said, we don't realize that. I didn't realize it when I was younger, and now I'm like, there are so many girls who want to become Miss America that feel that because of whatever their skin difference is, like for me, it's my birthmark, whatever it is, they're like, ah, not me. Like they want this. Again, another thing I want to say is perfection is so unrealistic. If I went and talked to 10 people and I said, what is your perfect person? First of all, are they going to say, that someone has blonde hair, blue eyes, brown eyes? Are they going to, how are they going to describe that person? How, are they going to say they're tall, they're short? What are they going to say? Because every single person's is going to be different. So when you go online and you're expected to fit this idea of perfect, what is it? Every
to
time
your
I was
point, what
thinking
is it?
about, yeah, every time I was thinking about Miss America, oh, well, you're not the perfect girl. Well, what is? And I'd love to hear it. And when people described it to me, I compared. Every single person's was different. No one's was the same. One person was like, "Oh, a beautiful blonde with big hair and um skin that looked like glass." And another person I was talking to said, "Oh my gosh, I would love a Latina with big voluptuous curls." Another girl said she wanted the clean girl look with the slick back. Like it was all different, and that's when I was like, that's what I need to bring to this organization. I need to show people that there is no cookie cutter. It's who you are as a person, what you can advocate for, and how you carry yourself. That's what matters in life. So yeah, I think
Absolutely.
that we
The
just bring such,
uniqueness.
yeah, we bring such a different perspective to things, and you don't know until you celebrate it that there's so much more to life worth celebrating.
Absolutely. And standing out and being confident is going to help other people stand out and be confident. If Maddie can do it, I can do it. Shawn's TikToks are crazy. He slide over cars in the middle of the winter with a toy gun. If he can do that, I can do it. It's just like, seriously, it's just like, that's the point,
Yeah.
is just just stand out. And you talked about how people would look at my condition, oh, that's just something you have to live with. No, see, living with it is just living with it. we're talking about embracing. And when you embrace something, you embrace it. You bring it closer to yourself. That's embracing. So when you completely own it, it can't hurt you anymore because I own it.
Hmm.
I own this. And so, hey, okay, yeah, okay. You want to say that? I had one person say, "Hey, pick a color," and so I did a video response, and I've got these lights, and I can just hit a switch, and so I did a dance, and I'm hitting, pick a color. I mean, I'll do this all day.
Yeah.
I embrace this. You can't hurt me because
Hmm.
I own it. I am it. It literally made me who I am. Because who's to say, okay, let's say I don't have vitiligo. Okay. Who's to say I'm not some pompous jerk who thinks too much of themselves and just, I can honestly say having it has always humbled me. And that coupled with all the rude comments growing up, but it's always humbled me. So I've never thought much of myself. I never have. And I probably think worse of myself than I should, but that's just where I'm at. But I'm still confident and I know what to do with it. And I know what I'm not going to allow anybody else to do. Like we don't do that anymore. You know how you carry yourself, how I carry myself, and I keep saying that how you carry yourself is how people will treat you.
Yep.
Just subconsciously, they have to. If you walk around like this, shoulders kind of hunched in, not looking around, people. But if you're standing tall, you carry yourself. That demands a certain level of respect. It just does.
I
So,
agree. One of the things we didn't touch on yet is that I'm 99% sure there's so much more to Shawn beyond vitiligo. Like
absolutely,
there, I feel like when you have some sort of condition like me and you, we utilize that is our platform. Your platform is talking about, hey, this is my difference, and you think you're gonna come at me, I'm gonna come at you tenfold. And that's kind of like me with my birthmark. Like this is something that I have embraced and celebrated, but hey, also I'm in PA school, I'm and so forth. So tell us about Shawn outside of your TikToks and your like story with vitiligo. Who is Shawn?
Sean is a husband. I have a wife. I have two children. At 44, I'm still a child myself, as the TikTok show. Um, I love just taking care of them. I My kids are everything. My wife is everything, and there's still aspects of that I need to do better because I let work and everything else get too in the way. But they are my purpose. I do everything for them. You know, I couldn't have a better wife. I mean, I always said like she is the four walls to our house, and I'm just the roof. And I just want to make sure everybody's safe inside. So I have my role, she has her role. We just put that together, and we've been married no for 20 years. Coming up on the 18th wedding anniversary next month. So we've been doing this for quite some time, and we've learned along the way, and I've made all kinds of mistakes and had to refine, and you get better, and you it's just here we are, but we're blessed. We've got our kids, we got our health, and we just keep it rolling. It's so funny because Stacy is so opposite of me. She's very introvert, and I'm a walking case study. So it's like it's you couldn't get more. I'm talking about like now when she gets to know somebody, she does come out and she's got character and she is very funny. I never admit that to her, so keep that. Splice that out. Splice. I don't even want to give her that credit because she would. No, she is. She's funny, but it's like we always have the competition. Like she's not funny. She thinks I'm not funny. I know I'm funny. Stacy, stop it. Okay, but no, she is very introverted. But when she comes out, she does get more eccentric, and she does that. But at face value, she's very quiet, and I'm always just on level 10. So it's just when they say opposites attract, you're not wrong. Like seriously, my son has special needs. He has autism. He is such a character, and I can't wait to touch on autism more. I'm going to start opening kickoff next month because that is autism awareness. So I plan on really, I do comedy. I like to talk about Bill's Mafia. I like to get thought provoking. Another leg is going to be talking about autism. I want to bring family into it, and then just kind of rotate all these different things to talk about because they are real issues that need talked about. And autism awareness is a real thing. And having a child with autism is so unique and so cool because no two autistic people are like they're like snowflakes. They're also like he doesn't express the way he needs to, but he interprets and understands everything. And he's still his ability, his speech ability, it's not where it needs to be yet, but we're still working. But he is such a personality in himself. And my daughter, who is 13, she is just Kala is me in female form. That's not good. Like that is my child. Oh, I guess she has a little TikTok thing too. She's goofy like me. And so me and her, we just we just click. So
Oh, I
yeah, I
love
got the
that.
Wild family.
I love that. Sorry
Yeah,
if
I got a good
you
one.
go into that.
And we recently, we literally just 2 days ago got a new family member. We got a dog, so her name
Oh,
is Molly. And so remember me talking to you about our unfortunate first quarter with her losing her mom. So I've been helped to appreciate how pets can have a very strategic and timely, place in people's lives. Like very, like this dog has anchored us. And I've talked to other ones who have talked about this, and they're like, my dog saved my mental health. Like my pet did this, and I'm seeing it firsthand now.
yeah.
It's a real beautiful thing. So that's a little bit about Shawn. It's I every once in a while I'll have the family in on the TikToks. Stacey doesn't always want to do it, but sometimes I pull her arm and get her. And you're gonna be married to this wild crazy mess. You're gonna do some TikToks with me, girl. Bro.
I love that though. I feel
So,
like there are some times where us as creators kind of get lost in like our creator life and we forget that there's so much more to us beyond that too that we should talk about. So I'm glad that we got to talk about that today. And
absolutely.
I feel like you have such a beautiful family. I love how you talk about them too. It's such a beautiful thing and I wish you guys the best health and the best life. Um
Appreciate you.
yeah, of course. We were talking earlier about a book that you said that you think everyone that's like us should read and take in. Tell me about that.
Yes. One sec. For any of us that are gonna walk on this journey and do this, I mean, there is no better book. This book is a top five book. I mean, Think and Grow Rich is one people need to read. How to Win Friends and Influence People is all about dealing with people. That's a phenomenal read. But Atomic Habits by James Clear, it's such an easy read. And it's just about how small habits that you do consistently can just compound into the greatest things ever. Two things I would like to bring out about this book. The one is habits can be connected to identification. So, a quick example, this book talked about this person. I forget if it was a male or female, but that doesn't even matter. They were a smoker for 50 years. Okay. And they decided to start, they're like, you know what? I'm going to quit smoking. And after 2 weeks of not smoking, they were out somewhere. They got offered a cigarette. And they were like, hey, you want a cigarette? And the person was like, oh no, you know what? I just quit smoking 2 weeks ago and I'm really not trying to do that. So no, I'm okay. Just that. Now that response was okay, and they didn't take the cigarette. The problem is you didn't detach yourself from that habit. You still identified with it. So rewind and we'll do this again. And so this person smoked for 50 years. They quit for 2 weeks and they're out and they get offered a cigarette. Hey, would you like a cigarette? I'm not a smoker. Wait a second. 2 weeks ago, you've been a smoker for 50 years. The point is, if you cut the identification, then you're no longer that. You can't be a content creator if you're not creating content. It's just as simple as that. If you want that identification, you have to consistently do it. So a person who goes to the gym to build muscle, you're a bodybuilder. You might not be going to the Arnold Classic, but that's not the point. You can't be a bodybuilder unless you are working out regularly. Or you're a runner. Okay. You have to be running consistently to be considered a runner. So it just helps you to appreciate that when you put identifications with habits, it kind of helps you to do them. I can call myself a content creator, and you can too, because we create content consistently. If I stop, I'm no longer a content creator. The second thing that this book brought out that I really, really loved, it gave this advice. And this advice is everybody starting off, doesn't have to be a journey of a content creator. It could be anything. If you're trying to get better in the gym, if you're trying to do this, trying to do that, if you want to do it with consistency, it said this phrase: you will never rise to your motivations, your ambitions. You will always fall to the level of your systems. What systems do you have in place? Because this journey gets redundant and you're not always going to want to do it. But when the systems are in place, it just automates. Just about all my bills I have on automatic bill pay. It just happens. But before, Shawn used to always every it's after a while it's like, but now they just automate. I don't have to worry about it. So whatever you're trying to do, when you get certain systems set in place, systems set in place, and like I said, strategic systems coming back to this chessboard, laying it out like you when you get it set up that way, then it just automates. And yeah, I don't feel like doing it today, but I've got such a great system set up that it just kind of, then it just happens. Systems are everything. It's not motivation. It's not, trying to, just will your way through it. It is systems.
You sold me that book just now. I needed to hear that so badly that whenever you
Such a good
either
read.
either you cut the habit or you identify with the habit, whatever you identify with is what you're going to be. That is exactly how
It's
you're.
what you are.
Yes. I I feel like I've never, it seems so simple to put into perspective, but I guess I never have. And hearing you say that out loud and give an example, I'm like, oh, I'm sold. I'm getting that because I need to
Yeah,
do that. So I gained something. I mean, obviously, I gained
yeah.
something from this beforehand, anyways, but that's a great piece of advice. And I absolutely love that so
Because
much.
going back to that example of the smoker, they didn't take the cigarette, but still connecting yourself to that habit could down the road potentially lead you back down that road.
Yeah.
You have to cut that habit. If it's a bad habit, quit identifying with it. If it's a good habit, the only way to continuously identify with it is to continuously do it. And I always tell people this like motivation, like I said, motivation is great, but it's not sustainable. If you're trying to, you need systems. But I always tell people this: you don't have motivation, you do motivation. Motivation is a verb. So I'll give you a quick example. It's like a spotlight. Your motivation is always on 100. Okay, it's always on 100. It's like a spotlight at the Apollo. It's just where you directing it. So there was this one day I was supposed to go to the gym. All right, I went to Kroger's. I got potato chips. I got ice cream. I got beer. Went home and I plopped myself on that couch and I watched some TV. Maddie, that's where my motivation was at. It's always on 100. I was motivated to do that. I just wasn't motivated to go to the gym. It's always on 100. It's where you're directing it. And I directed it from Planet Fitness to being a big back. And that's on me. It's like it's always on 100. So whatever you're doing is where your motivation's at. It's always on 100. I tell everybody that. So we need to get out of this way of thinking of, yeah, I got to be motivated to. No, you're motivated to do whatever you're doing. Always. So
Yeah, absolutely. I felt that, that's for sure. But I think we can kind of get to wrapping this up now. Is there anything else you would
absolutely.
like to tell the people listening?
No, well, first off, I want to thank you for having me on here. If you want to follow me, just Shawn 25. Maybe you can maybe just put my tag maybe on here or whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to follow me, I'm on Facebook. I'm either making you laugh, I'm giving you something thought provoking, or I'm doing something. I'm always doing something. I mean, I represent Bill's Mafia, so I'm always talking about that. But please follow along, and this won't be our last conversation. I'm sure we will do something. I have things I'm working on, and I plan on having you on. So that's what we do. Anyone, if you see this, if you watch this, please just do it. That's what my barber told me. I would always be sitting in his chair talking about all these things I want to do, but I wasn't doing it. It's just a paralysis of the analysis. And he was like, bro, I don't know what else to tell you, but just do it. And as cliche as that is, the raw action, the magic you're looking for is in the action you have not taken yet. Take the action day by day, and you'll start to see the magic. But you got to get in the game. Just as simple as that. So
Oh, I
thank
thank
you
you
so much,
so.
Manny. I appreciate this.
Of course, I thank you as
This
well.
was
I think
fun.
so many people are going to benefit from this episode, and I'm excited to continue to collaborate with you. Probably have you on again in the
Absolutely.
future because you just bring such a different
Please do.
perspective to this, and I would love to anything that you have going on and would like to have me come on to. Would love to. Um, yeah, so thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
for everyone watching today, Shawn's story just goes to show the true beauty and difference. And when I say that, I mean it. Thank you everyone for watching today. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. Take care.